What's going on, guys? King Trats here, back into the video on the channel. As you can see, while I'm crouching behind these boxes, Patti LaBelle made frozen dinners, soul food dinners, and I had to try these. $8 a piece. I found these bad boys at Walmart. They all take an hour to cook, so they are all fresh out of the oven. You can microwave them, but I wanted to give them a good shot, so I did put them in the oven for 45 minutes a piece, except for the mac and cheese, which took an hour. But I'm gonna try all these bad boys out. We're gonna rate them. We're gonna chop it up, drop a thumbs up. You guys already know the vibes. So let me get these boxes out of the way so we can get into this review. Quick little background: if you're unfamiliar with Patti LaBelle, she was pretty much the soundtrack to my mom cleaning on Sundays, so I'm familiar. But she is known as the godmother of soul. She's a much-loved R&B singer slash actress, and over the years she has come out with her own line of pies that were at Walmart, which I do find good for a store-bought pie, sweet potato pie. But she came out with frozen dinners, and I'm like, there's no way I'm not gonna try this, so we're gonna try these bad boys out. I can't wait to try these. All these are still hot as hell. They've been cooling for about 5 minutes, but I'm gonna start off. You know what? I gotta go with the mac and cheese because it looks the best. The mac and cheese took the longest to cook. It was an hour, completely frozen. 1 hour, and then you had to take the film off for an additional 15 seconds. But I'm not gonna lie to you, for a frozen mac and cheese, if you put this in a regular container, it looks like a pretty good mac and cheese. So I hope it is as good as it looks. Well, hot. Two reactions. One, pretty much burnt my esophagus on the way down. Two, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that this is like the best mac and cheese you'll ever eat. It's frozen. But for a frozen mac and cheese, if somebody put this in a container and said they made it, I'd believe them. It tastes that homemade. There is a ton of butter and cheese in this. So much to the point that when I took it out, it was actually bubbling. I did stir it up. This is surprisingly, for a frozen mac and cheese, it's as close as you'll get to a homemade mac and cheese that I've ever tried. On a frozen food scale, rating this against frozen mac and cheese, honestly, store-bought mac and cheese. If you serve this at like a fast food spot, you would eat it. I'll put it that way. I would eat this. I'm not gonna much lie to you. It takes crazy long to cook, and I don't know about microwave, but as far as this right here, this is crazy. This is the highest rating I've ever given to a frozen mac and cheese. I'll give this a 9.2 out of 10. For a frozen, go ahead. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got one more bite. But look at this. Look at all the butter. You can see it about to drip off of my spoon. That's how much is in here. It's heavy, but it's really not bad at all. Now I'm gonna try the chicken and waffles. You get 2 waffles and 4 chicken strips. It looks the worst out of any of these things that I've had so far. And I tried really hard to get these crispy. I cooked them extra. I even took them out of this and then put them into the oven on just like tinfoil just to get them crispier, but it just wasn't working. You can see by the look, it does just look like a frozen chicken strip, but again, I'm keeping an open mind. I want to bite the strip. I'm going to bite the waffle. I do have some syrup over here that I'm going to put on as well, but I want to see what it tastes like just alone. Again, frozen. It's not bad for frozen. It is seasoned. There's something on here that's a little bit spicy. Now, not overly spicy, but enough to know that you're eating something that is seasoned. It is all white meat. It's not bad, again, for frozen. So the rating might seem like I'm being a little lenient when I finish at the end, but rating the strip alone, I would give it an 8 out of 10. Frozen chicken alone. Please, again. Now I'm going to try this waffle, which, again, they're crispy. Maybe you're supposed to butter them. I don't have butter in my house. I don't cook with butter. Honestly, again, for frozen, it tastes better than an Eggo. It tastes like a homemade frozen waffle. I know that sounds weird. But now let's get a little bit of syrup on here. See what we're working with. Get a little bit of that syrup. I'm just going to put it on the edge and then maybe get a piece of chicken, rip that off, and then put this bad boy like this. We're going to go in for a bite. Ooh, that dripped all over my damn table. Again, for frozen, it's not bad. The waffle alone, I would give a 7.5. Together, I would give an 8. So far, the mac and cheese is the real star of the show. Like, I would legitimately buy this again. Now we are going to move on to the collard greens. Now, this says it was seasoned with a touch of hot pepper, so I'm expecting a little spicy. I'm very specific about my greens. Again, these are frozen greens, so it looks very similar to, like, frozen spinach, but you never know. That's not bad. No, legitimately. I just threw me off guard, so hold on. I only... Whoa. Again, I'm rating this off frozen, but that's... She did her thing. Did your thing. It is got a little bit of spice, a little kick of hot pepper. I like my greens a little bit more vinegary, which is missing. But there's something in here that gives it that, like, fatty pork fat kind of taste. I'm not sure because there's no, like, actual meat in here. Again, this is frozen. You could pass this off if somebody made this, though. You would be like, I mean, they all right for a homemade meal, but for a frozen meal, it's blowing my mind. I fully expected this to not really be that good. But the greens and the mac, like, legitimately, I would eat it. Like, on, like, a lazy day, if I just felt like cooking it, I would eat it. No joke. I like the little hint of spice on here. You can see the red pepper. You're probably not going to get it, but there's a little hint of, like, red flecks. You can see it on my spoon right there. This isn't bad. Only store-bought greens I would eat before this was a brand called Glory. These are better than that. Still has a little bit more bite. They're not soggy at all. This is the highest rating. I'm going to keep saying the same things over and over because I'm in shock right now. But, again, for store-bought frozen stuff, legitimately, 8.6 out of 10. I'm shocked. And last over here, we have glazed sweet potatoes. It says it has a maple glaze on them. Yeah, you can definitely see there's some sort of maple to this because the sauce is really, really like a white. Stop. I can't even say nothing with y'all around, man. I'm just going to grab this damn thing and get it. And y'all can see the maple glaze right there, okay? Stop it. No. Ooh. I don't like those. Nope. The sweet potatoes, I think I followed the directions again. They're not cooked well enough to my liking, but even with that, the sauce, they're not sweet enough. And I don't like my yams or sweet potatoes too sweet. And they're still not sweet enough. Like, the sweetness is very faint and not enough to power through these. I don't like these. We was on a roll here, Miss Patti, but these need some work. I'm gonna try one more piece because we try to be fair here, but no, no. That's the first one that I really just don't like at all. I would give those a 1 out of 10. I wouldn't buy those again. But honestly, all in all, for frozen food like this, it's way better than I thought it would be. I would buy this and this 100% over and serve it with some sort of side dish. As far as the chicken and waffles goes, you can definitely just get like Walmart popcorn chicken or something, and it's just as good, if not better, than that. I like just like the Walmart little popcorn chickens, and I would get like those chicken tenders or something like that. I would buy before this. As far as the waffles go, it's not worth that $8 you pay for this, but this and this were $8 a piece, and honestly, I would pay $8 for those. Legitimately. The yams gotta go. But other than that, really, really not a bad job at all. Little topic I want to talk about today. First of all, by the way, when you're seeing this, I very well in the next video or two will be wearing the same hoodie. I recorded 2 things in the same day because I have an event I have to go to over this weekend, and I still want to make sure I have videos out. So don't think I'm just dirty. I just had the same clothes on. I don't think y'all do, but just in case I know people, I like to cross my T's and dot my I's. We had a conversation on stream last night that I think some people may get a little discouraged, and I think maybe you might want to hear this. Again, I preface stuff all the time because I don't want anybody thinking I'm some sort of guru. I'm not. I am just as imperfect as everybody else. I have many flaws. I try to work on myself daily, but it's always a work in progress. And that's kind of what I want to talk about today. There was someone on the stream that said they were 22 years old and they were a little nervous because they felt like they didn't have anything figured out. And I don't have everything figured out. And people that are older than me don't have everything figured out. I don't think that you should ever look at it as if you're supposed to have everything figured out. I think that people these days stress way too much about where they're going to be in a decade or in 5 years instead of worrying about the now and just kind of just enjoying your life. Yes, you're supposed to be successful to some capacity. I'm not saying not to have ambitions. I'm telling you that sometimes you look so far down the road that you forget what is in front of you. And then you wake up one day and it's been 20 years and you wonder where the hell their time went. You know, there's people in high school that think that they're supposed to have it all figured out by college. And then you get to college and people think you're supposed to have it all figured out by the time you graduate. Then you graduate and you're like, okay, where's my career? I don't have a career. And then 10 years down the road, you might do a complete about face. I know people that are in their 40s and 50s and have completely changed their career path and went in a different direction because they still didn't have things figured out. That is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no one way to get to the road of, I hate sounding all philosophical, but just being happy, being successful, whatever you think that it is that you want to be, there's no one way to do it. There's a million ways to do it. And personally, I've wanted about 7 different occupations in my life and thought that I was going to be somewhere that I wasn't. I remember being, when I was 17 years old, saying if I wasn't married by the time I was 22, then, you know, what the hell was I doing? Boy, was I wrong. And, you know, or maybe dating somebody that you think that it's all done and you're supposed to be married and you end up breaking up and now you have to start over. There's plenty of people out there who have been through, if not are going through all of those things. A lot of people change careers and people go broke, make money, go broke again, make money. It's all a part of a process. I don't want you to think that because you haven't achieved some milestone you thought you were going to be at, or your life isn't where it's supposed to be, or you think it's not, it doesn't mean you're out of time. If you're healthy and you're able, you still have time. So just work towards that and take care of the little things and you'll end up maybe not where you want to be, but you'll end up way better off than if you just sat there worried about it. If you're in high school right now, some of you guys might be in high school. Enjoy being in high school. Stop worrying about what you're going to be doing in college. That'll get there. You'll get there. But just live in that moment of enjoying that. There's so many people, you know, I coached high school football for a couple years when I got home. And a lot of those guys were so worried about what they were doing in college. And I'm like, bro, trust me, when you call me in 10 years, you might be like, man, I wish I wasn't even thinking about that back then. And I met up with some of those guys. I've seen them around. And they believe it now. I know sometimes it's hard to listen to people that are older than you because you think, oh, just because you're older doesn't mean you don't know everything. You're right. Just because somebody's older than you doesn't mean they know everything. But if you're a high school student, most of those people already graduated high school or went to high school. They went there already. They experienced those things. And even if it was 2 decades ago, 3 decades ago, high school, in and all, even if the technology is different, the stuff is still the same. The worry about where you're going to be when you get out, the worry about your grades, high school drama, boyfriend, girlfriend stuff, not liking teachers, feeling like somebody's picking on you, or it's all still the same stuff. The only difference is you guys have much more access to information than we ever did. And I think that's kind of screwed up the younger generation because you have a comparison of a much larger pool than even I had. And the internet, I'm not that old, the internet and social media were a thing when I was in high school. But it wasn't like now where you have access to so many people. So you're comparing yourself to millions and millions of people instead of how it used to be when, say in the 80s, people compared themselves to everybody else in high school. That was your pool. When it comes to dating, your relationships you saw were the ones in front of your eyes or on television. It wasn't thousands and thousands or millions of people posting about relationships and so on. So as a person who's gone through high school and college and out into the real world, has careers, you're never going to have it all figured out. All you really want to do is just be better than the last day. And that might not happen every day, but just try to take care of what you have to do for that day and enjoy it. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the grind, enjoy the good, enjoy the bad. I know it sounds weird saying enjoy the bad, but embrace it. Because there's learning experiences in losing. There's learning. I wouldn't have this advice if I didn't go through stuff that sucked. I've been through breakups. I've been through, thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to pass this class or, this, I'm not going to win this game, or I've been through all that stuff. I've been through not knowing what I was going to do in college, what major I was going to pick. Oh my God, am I going to declare a major? I'm an exercise science major. I'm sitting there eating food for a living. It's crazy, right? That's kind of how it works. It's like that, because you work at a job that's a 9 to 5 and you say you want to do something more. You can still do that. You can still work and then work towards something else in the back end. So I just wanted to say that because so many people are so worried all the time. Worrying is good, but not to the point that it makes you not do things. You should be afraid to fail. but you shouldn't let that stop you from trying. Some people are so scared of failing that they don't try anything. And then you never end up anywhere, right? You unless you swing the bat, like you're never going to strike out or hit a home run. Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to be sitting on a bench watching everybody else go by. So take chances, calculated risks, but at the same time, just enjoy it, man. Because you don't want to wake up one day and be like, I wish I would have did this, or I wish I would have just enjoyed it more. And if you ask most people at my age bracket, or the ones after me and so on, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Sometimes you wish you would have just enjoyed it more. You got kids, enjoy when your kid is a kid, because one day they're going to be 18 or 28 or 38 or so on. So just enjoy it, because it doesn't last forever, and you'll never get those time. The one thing we all can't get back is time. None of us. So one thing, one asset, no matter how much money you have, anything, we can never get time back. Can't. It's impossible. Right now, hopefully. I hope nobody's time traveling yet. But you get the idea, man. I just wanted to check in with y'all and talk about that because, again, I'm not an expert, but I think that over the years I've kind of just like mellowed out. I wasn't always the same person. I was a hothead when I was younger, definitely. Much more angry of a person, but I'm just a lot more chill and a lot more just enjoying the process. Like, life is like this. It's not like this, and it's not like this. It's always like this. So never get too crazy when everything's down, and never get too like full of yourself when everything's up, because it's gonna do this. It always does. It's the one thing I can tell you from experience, and everybody probably could tell you. So I hope that reaches y'all, man. I hope y'all having a good 2024. And if you're not, it's still January. Relax. That was the point. But we'll be back tomorrow. More content, man. I love y'all. The hand signs. They made it to YouTube.